Okay, guys, Obi have finally come out to talk about how bad Nigeria is currently. He threw more light on how Nigeria used to be before, during the 1990s, how, everything was so beautiful, things were working smoothly until APC government took over and dismantled everything to the point that they hijacked the judiciary and also hijacked INEC and even all the sectors, army, all the force, hijacked everybody to work on their favor. So let's watch the video together.
Well, if you can what Bishop Kuka said, he said the work in progress. Let me follow my brother when he said about 1999. If you look at where we are today, it's like they started in 1999, laid the foundation. Some people came and took it to a decking, and some people were trying to raise it to first floor, and some people came and knocked everything down. That's the situation where we are now. Everything has been knocked down. Nothing works. And I'm somebody who can say this exemplarily. I became a governor to the court when President Obasanjo and Atiku were government. I did not pay the court 1 naira. I was sitting in my house in the office, and the court declared me winner. When the governor is so serious, it can happen in Nigeria today. When I was being impeached, the president sent people to come and intervene on my behalf. Ken Naman came begging House people not to impeach me. Today, the president impeaches the person. So that is the thing that is correct. That is saying, they were begging my house not to impeach me. And they were begging me. I was in anger. And they were begging. President was calling me and saying, Peter, are you okay? Well, even when I was impeached, President Obasanjo called me and said, are you okay? Are you safe? When I go back from the court, when court eventually declared me under Anjuba, President Tinubu called my phone in London and said, congrats. I said, President, I can't come back because, if I come back, these people, he said, tell me the flight in which you're coming back. And I told him, when I came in the first time, military people came to receive me at the airport. I couldn't believe it. I took this straight to him. Now the president will ask me not to come back here again. So he's saying, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about how you're going to rebuild it. It's collapsing.
I'm glad that the last respondents said yes and no. So,
well, I will say to China, China is not democratic.
it isn't.
And I'm not going to compare ourselves with Singapore. It's a country of less than 5 million people. But I'll compare ourselves with Indonesia. Indonesia is 280 million. And coincidentally, a country with the highest number of Muslims. We should look at their democracy. They have what we call proportional representative. That is what I've always championed and would do. You cannot have, let me even go back, no country in the past 3 years conducted election had less than 30% of registered voters participate in the election and they held it. Everyone was going to check from South Africa to Mexico to Indonesia. They were not less than 60%. Nigeria was 23% of registered voters. In that 23%, Nigeria is the only country where you can be declared a winner without receiving 50% plus one of the vote. Our own was at 7%. And there's no proportional representation, which is why you can have opposition here. Because if you had that, what is it would have happened? Because the person there now have 7% of the vote, call it 40. In the Senate, would have had 44 members. PDP, with their leader, would have had about 34 members, and Labour would have had 24. In fact, we should have actually formed government. You cannot have a minority person sitting in government with everything, chasing everybody out, destroying everything. We must change it and have proportional representation so that the people go to everything. That is how it works. And when we do that, go and see it in Indonesia. In Indonesia, the president's party is not the leading party in the parliament, but they have proportional representation, which brings proper checks and balances. Like he said, it's the operators. That's why I said it's failing. Did I even show that it's failing? Because the operators now have failed it. That is when we go back, it is failing.
But even in Nigeria, there's more to do with the operators. I'll give you an example. Here in this room, seated, is former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Under his regime, state of emergency was declared in a number of states. The National Assembly, then you had Senator Ayin Payafai as President of the Senate, and of course, Senator Ken Amani and Senator David Mark. They all worked. And then, of course, Speaker Masari was also Speaker of the House of Representatives, Speaker Etia and Dr. and myself at the point. We all ensured that two-thirds majority of members of both chambers passed the emergencies in those times.
By 2/3, each member had to vote.
Each member had to vote. And you know that Parliament is guided by the Constitution, by its rules, and by precedents. In this same National Assembly, we have the same Constitution in a way, under Section 305. It has not been amended since the commencement of this democracy. We have our standing rules, and we have precedents of how two-thirds were able to be established in those instances where emergency was declared in Plateau, emergency was declared in Borno and Yobe. And we stuck by those. And we're guided by the Constitution. What happened in the last one? So I still insist that you need to check out the operators of the system.
I can ask that question because Bishop Kuka, when he was speaking, made reference how we will balance it.
Yeah, I think we are looking at democracy within the context of Africa, not just Nigeria. And I listened to the speaker very well. He talked about the challenges, but I'll go even further. I don't know whether many of us were aware of the meeting last week in Qatar between the president of Rwanda and the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo over the war that was going on there. But what I found very striking is how the two leaders will meet. Because a few days before that meeting, the president of Rwanda granted an interview. And in that interview, he was very brutal on the president of the Republic of Congo. He gave an anecdote that there was this report that he read somewhere that an Italian man, who lived in Belgium, said that when he was in Belgium, that the current president of Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix, was a driver for him, a delivery driver. He was selling pizza. That's according to President Kagame. So he said, the Italian man said, when I heard that Felix became the president of Congo, Felix couldn't deliver pizza. And I mean, he's the president of his President Kagame telling this story that you have a president in the Republic of Congo, a man who was so incompetent in his early life that he couldn't deliver pizza. That's the kind of president you have. The Republic of Congo has handled beside it. I don't think that story is true, but that's beside the point. The point really is that there are challenges for every country when it comes to management of politics. What the lesson for us is democracy is about serving the public good. It's not about it. That's why I agree to an extent with what His Excellency said. It's a work in progress. But I also agree with what His Excellency Tinubu said, because there are also challenges that we can see within our own environment. But we have to look at both sides, the challenges as well as the prospects, and the role we can play to make this democracy better. That's what I will say. Democracy will serve the public good. If you, I listened to Bishop Kuka when he was talking about Indonesia, Singapore. We easily have talked about Rwanda, for instance, as a model in Africa, because at least people believe that the system is working for the majority of them. It's a incident that I've never been to Rwanda, but I hear a lot of good things about Rwanda. But there are also people who believe that Rwanda is not the model. So that tells you about the way people reason about this democracy. Yeah, it's working for the ordinary people. But the elite are also complaining that there are issues of human rights, there are issues of justice. So at the end of the day, there is no perfect democracy anywhere in the world. But what is essential is that government, by any means, will serve the public good. I think, for me, that is the message we should all take from here.
Okay, guys, you guys heard what he said. So I'm telling you the honest truth. Nigeria used to be a very beautiful place before in the 90s. You understand? Because then I could remember I can easily go to my neighbor's house. You know, they will serve me food, water, and all that. But this period, even that your neighbor self never eat belleful. Talk more of the ones that is going to give to you. So it's crazy. Our society have, you know, gone so bad, and we are the cause. Like, we contributed a lot to it, and it's not late for us to start making the change. So we really need to take our country back. We really need to, you know, get Nigeria to start working again. It's very, very important, because our society, you know, we have to secure it for our future generation. Because if we don't, if our children should grow in this kind of environment, it's going to play play a very big impact in their life when they finally grow up. Because if you check what is happening now, you know, you can hardly see integrity, you know, unlike before. So before, you can, getting integrity is like something that people celebrate the most. But this period, people no longer celebrate integrity. Everybody is all after the money. You understand? As if we are not all going to die and leave all these things behind. So it's crazy how, you know, things have gotten this bad. Even we, as in some of the elders, have joined, you know, the younger ones to start doing rubbish, forgetting that they are the ones that is their responsibility, you know, to make sure that the young ones didn't go astray, you know, to make sure that, you know, our society still produce those people of integrity, you know, that we used to have back then. Because if you allow those people that have taken over now, you know, to succeed, they are going to, you know, lead our kids astray. So you can't tell me that in a society that was built in deceit and lies, that your kids is going to grow up and they are going to be different, is a big lie. Even if you are installing good morals in them, the bad ones are still going to corrupt them, because the bad ones will be greater than the good ones out there. So the thing is, we all have a very big part to play. We have to come together to make sure that we start doing the right thing, no matter how little it is. We don't need to, we don't always need to rely on waiting for the government to make the change, or maybe cry to the government. No, the change have to start in within, from our offices, from anywhere we are, even in our businesses. We have to start from there. We have to start making the change from as little as it can, so that we can, you know, push over the roof. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to protect our society. It's very important. We don't have to let all this mafia to succeed, because if you check, they have even hijacked those men of God, those people that call themselves men of God. None of them is even speaking against them, or even trying to protest or protest against their government. Everybody is keeping mute. You know, imagine some pastors even say, one of the pastors even saying that this government is one of the best administrators. I don't understand. Like, that's how bad the country have gotten. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to play more part. We have to, you know, make sure that we always pay attention in anything that concerns our country. Let's stop let's stop doing as if it's none of our business. It's going to affect all of us. Some of us might be young now, and we won't understand the kind of impact, the kind of negative impact this thing is going to play on the coming generation, or on us, until we start getting older. And see, imagine how our parents are suffering now. Imagine how it's going to be during our own time, when we actually get older, and it's not going to be easy on us. So we have to do our possible best in any way that we can, no matter what, in order to demand that change, in order to be that change that we eventually liberate and make our country a better place. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to others. Subscribe to our channel if you are new to this channel, and turn on the bell icon so that you get notified each time we drop a new update. So see you guys on the next video. May nature bless you.